Hello and welcome back to Up the Villa podcast. This is our match preview for Brighton against Aston Villa on Sunday. If you are new to our channel, make sure you are subscribing, smash a like, and also comment your thoughts in the comment section down below. Right, let's get into it first. Got a couple more thoughts on the Olympiacos game that I've been stewing on that I want to get off my chest a little bit. And the first thing that I'm going to say is the tie is not over for me. I am still pretty confident that we're going to get through this tie. And I think the reason for that is I spoke about this before the game, mentioning that fans and we've had to understand Europe again and playing in Europe's differently. And yeah, we lost badly, but all is not lost. There's still another opportunity in this game. It's technically half time in this tie. And I'm confident that we can still do it. For me, the biggest thing for me is next goal. If Aston Villa get the next goal in this tie, we're going to win this game and we're going to win the tie. It's that simple for me. If Aston Villa get the next goal, then we're going to do it. Because we know, or we already know, that 2-0 is a very difficult scoreline in football. Now, just look at this scenario that's going through my head is that, yeah, it's going to be a hostile environment. They've already got smashed there against Tel Aviv. They've scored 4 goals past them there. So, you can score goals there, and we're capable of scoring goals. And we get that first goal, it gets edgy, it gets twitchy, then we can go on and get another. So for me, it's all about that first goal. If we get that first goal, then we can do it. So momentum swings in a game. We already know that we created really good openings against Olympiacos. We were unfortunate with some of their goals that they scored. So with that being said, I feel like we'll go there and we will create chances. So we've got to take them. We've got to score an early goal at some point. Be patient. If that goal comes late in the first half, then we can go again in that second half. So for me, all is not lost, and I'm still pretty confident that we're going to be able to do it because European football's different. You can lose a game and you've still got an opportunity to rectify it. So that's where I'm at, and I am pretty. I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty confident. I back this team and I believe in this team, and things didn't go our way at times, and we'll come back. So, Brighton, already done the opposition preview. That was out yesterday. If you've not watched it, go and check it out. A lot of injuries for Brighton. This is not the Brighton that we are used to. It's not the Brighton that are, playing really, really well. Now, that's not to say that they're not a bad team. A good team, bad team, don't know what I'm trying to say. You'll know what I'm trying to say. So I expect them to still be quite good. They're missing Marsh, they're missing Lallana, they're missing Ferguson, Matoma, Espunen, they're missing Van Hecke. So there's a lot of players that are out for Brighton. He's playing a lot of kids, he's rotating quite a lot. Their form is dire at the minute. So we've got to make sure that we go there and we impose ourselves and we bounce back like we always do. This Villa side bounce back very, very well. And I imagine that there'll be a lot of players that have come off that pitch on Thursday night. And I imagine Unai's had a bit of a word privately with a couple of them and said, look, you've got to perform better. You've got to be at the correct level and the correct standard. And, we've only a few games to go in the league. We've got to rise to this challenge. A lot of the players now are talking about the Champions League. They're talking about qualifying for it. So they are fully aware of what's at stake on Sunday. They are fully aware of what they've got to do. And they know the task at hand. So I expect them to bounce back. I expect them to go there with confidence because Unai has separated the league and Europa Conference League. He's separated the two. So when we're looking at the team, he analyses them in 2 different phases, which I think is good to do because We never really have a hangover from Europe to the Premier League or Premier League to Europe. So in that sense, I like what he's done there. So we've just got to go there, be confident, and try and get something from the game. I think that's very, very important that we get something from the game. I've said, again, a couple of days or weeks ago that it's important that that scoreboard just keeps ticking over from a Villa point of view. And the big thing for Villa and the difference between Villa and Spurs is consistency. Villa have been consistent this season, and Unai keeps using that word about being consistent, and he's using it within being consistent with how we play, but also being consistent with picking up results. And that's massively important now in this area of the season. Spurs are virtually in must-win territory for Champions League. They are 7 points behind us with a possible 12 to get. Now, Spurs aren't consistent. So Spurs, for them to get Champions League, they're going to have to be very consistent, and they're going to have to win a lot of football matches. And I'm not sure that they're going to be able to do that. I think, and I said it at the time, them having that 2-week break is the worst thing to have. Going into the business end of the season now, cold, no form, players just not playing that great. So we've got a real big opportunity. Villa win on Sunday, Liverpool win on Sunday, Aston Villa will get Champions League. That is absolutely massive. So it's huge. It's a great opportunity. There are 3 Premier League opportunities left for Aston Villa. Win one of those games and we will get top 4, in my opinion. So that's where I'm at. That's where my mindset's at. But I have been thinking of one thing all of yesterday. I'm thinking of it right now, and I'm going to explain to you what I've been thinking. Now, with any bad performance, there will become a Luke Robinson debrief. There will be an area that has got on my nerves, and that's the area I think we've not grasped correctly. And I'm looking at the Olympiacos game, and I'm looking at the Chelsea game, and I'm now looking at the Brighton game. Right now, of what I want to see, and an observation that I have made, and if it gets rectified, which I hope it will, then I think we will be perfectly fine. Anyway, I mean, there's only 4 games for us to play, so there's only 4 games that we've got to go. So, right, what have I noticed, and what's the area that I'm just a bit like this with the team. A lot of people, which is fine, you can all have your own opinions. That's great. We ask for them, so that's fine. Can absolutely hammer a player. That's the first thing. And that's one thing that you'll never ever see me do. Like, absolutely hammer someone, right? I will always give constructive criticism. And that's probably what I'm going to do now, without absolutely hammering the player. So let's have a look then at something that's got my attention. We'll go tactical pad. We'll go sofa score. We'll paint the picture, right? So here's the average positions against Olympiacos. Now, what we can see is it's our general generic formation. So 4 at the back, 2 in central midfield, 2 either side of the double pivot, and then 2 up top. 4-2-2-2. The player in Moussa Diaby, will drop into a box midfield. So we've got our back 4, we've got our 2 midfielders, we've got our 2 either side, and the 2 up top. So 4-2-2-2, right? What happens for Villa in the way we play is Diaby will drop into there, Rodgers will come across there, forming a box midfield. Bailey will stay out wide, Watkins will be up top, Luke Dean will go forward, Cash will be in and around here, okay? But something that I noticed against Olympiacos that we weren't doing was the shape of our team. If you go to the average positions, you can see Moussa Diaby's position here is averagely not dropping that deep. So he's playing alongside Ollie Watkins. We've got Bailey out wide, which is where Bailey would normally be. We've got Morgan Rogers in his area, which where he would normally be. But the deepest line player in the double pivot is John McGinn. He's in an advanced position. So we know a double pivot, you cannot be on the same line. It has to be on a diagonal. If it becomes on a standard line like that, then you've got problems, really. You want it to be on that angle there. So we can see that it is on an angle, but for me, it's on the wrong angle. It's on a Douglas Luiz being deeper and a John McGinn being a little bit further forward. Now, we get this debate of Cash or Konsa, who should play at right back and who should play at centre half. And I know a lot of you will know that my preferred one is Konsa at right back, because I think it allows us to be a lot more solid at the back and have a lot more structure and a lot more shape. Now, if we look at John McGinn's position here, yeah, his heat map is screening that back three. But for me, he's too high. He's far too high. And what we've got to remember here is we're playing the same way as what we did with Kamara. Now, you would never see Kamara really that advanced. There might be times where he might be on the odd game. But I'm trying to think of, let's go back to what we wanted Kamara to do. And if we go back to what we want Kamara to do, it's too advanced here. So I found the perfect screen grab of what Kamara's role was against Arsenal earlier on in the season. Now, if we have a look at what Kamara's role was within that back three, my preferred back three of Konsa, Carlos and Pau, look where Kamara is. That is so much more solid, and the shape of the team looks so much more organised. And yeah, this was against Arsenal, so we did a lot of defending. So we'd want Ollie Watkins probably to be at the spearhead of that arrow. But you can already see that that's your double pivot there with Dougie and Kamara. And then you've got McGinn either side. You've got Tielemans in there. And it's just a lot more organised. So that's an observation that I've made, because if we do go back to Olympiacos, and I've seen a lot of Dougie. Like, he had a bad game, Dougie did. But we've got to sort of, we can't just say, you're crap, you played crap, and that's it. Why did he play crap? And I think he did play poor. Like, I will say he played poor. But I think what happened around him doesn't help. Like, if he gets too isolated, we know he misses Kamara. Like, Kamara and him, that's their partnership. So what I'm trying to say is, to get the best out of Dougie, we've got to do what Kamara does. And that's how it's going to work. So by having Dougie exposed there, and having to work around and having McGinn in more of an advanced position, Dougie's having to do a lot of work there, because you can see on the heat map how advanced McGinn's been getting. So if McGinn's gone and left Dougie, and we've lost the ball, and Dougie's in there and scrapping around, we need protection from Rodgers, we need protection from Bailey as well, but we also need Moussa Diaby dropping deeper, coming in and helping out at the same time. So, yeah, let's just go back to that Arsenal one and we just see, did Kamara get in an advanced area? So he did get in an advanced area, but not as much, because you can see that green gap between the defence and the attack. So that's an observation that I've made, and I think it's worth noting. And I think it's worth noting that if it's looking like that, right, we can all really kind of see where, right, let's just get a nice little circle. We can already see that there we're going to have a slight problem. Now, if we do go back again to Olympiacos, and kind of have a look at where their attackers were formed. So around here, look. So around here, here. So these are all areas where we've left a little bit of space here between these two. The 6 and the 56 and the 9 are all drifting into those areas over there where we've vacated at times. I do think there's something in that, and I do want us to really have a look at that and figure out what we're going to do, because I think it needs working on. You know, for me personally, my lineup against Brighton, I'm going to go predicted lineup now, is going to be this. So it's going to be Cash out, Konsa in, Carlos in, and that's what I'm going to do, right? So that's what my lineup's going to be like. Now with this, it's just more solid. Like, I prefer it. I really prefer it. And I'll tell you why I prefer it. Because when Cash is in here, I think we're a little bit like the Chelsea system at times, where if Bailey's our wide player that's staying out wide, and Bailey's wide area, like Bailey's role's not really to sort of interlink with Diaby at all. Bailey's got that license to stay there and attack into there. So really, when Cash plays, we don't really need him to go here. Because if he does go there, get rid of Konsa. If he does go there and we're attacking, we've got a massive gap. And we know that Bailey's not going to be tracking back down here, really. Like, that's not his game. So with Cash out for me, Konsa there, we don't need the right back to necessarily always venture forward. He can stay at home more. And that's the whole beauty of this system. Stay at home more. Yeah, his average position might be there. You've got Carlos in there, Pau in there. Then that allows more license for Luca Dean to bomb on, so he can have complete license because everybody can shift across. McGinn can stay in and around this area, and just say to McGinn, all I want you to do is stay around here. You haven't got to go anywhere down here. You've just got to make sure that that's your zone there. Lock in your zone. And once the zones are all locked in, then Luis can have a bit more license to move around here a little bit more and not have to watch over his shoulder and watch what's going on. Rodgers can come inside a little bit more, make sure he's got to help out. You know, when Luca Dean goes forward, we've got to work out through there. And then Bailey can stay out there. Diaby can drop in and drop into that, make up that box with Rodgers as well when needed. And the whole system for me looks more solid, more compact, more organised. And I just think it looks loads better. So that's what I would do. That's my team. That's my lineup. And I think it's more solid. Against Brighton, we may have to relinquish some of the ball. So that might see us going longer at times. It might see us going a little bit more direct. We were very direct the first game against Brighton at Villa Park. Was it the 6-1? We're very good away at Brighton. We play really well against them. So then they're not the Brighton that have been blitzing teams. They're struggling. They're struggling for form. They're struggling for confidence. So we've got to be switched on. But I just want us to be organised first and not get played through and not get done on transition. So this allows us to be more solid, in my opinion. Hopefully you like my little tactical little outlook. That's just what's going through my brain at the minute. So I have the ability to be able to portray what's in my brain onto this screen that you are watching. And then, yeah, that's where I'm at. You know, I think Luis has been poor, but I don't think it's just all based on performance. I think there's many other little factors that are coming into it as well. So there we go. Right. So let's have a look then. Head-to-heads, Premier League record. We have got 6 wins over them out of 9. 4 home wins, 2 away wins, 2 draws. We have got recent records 6-1, 2-1, 2-1. We are fourth, 20 games won, scoring 2.1 per game. They're scoring 1.5. They're conceding 1.7, and we're conceding 1.5. Form guide, Villa's form guide is very, very good. Last 4 games. Theirs is just very, very poor. One thing to note on their system as well is if they go man for man, which they did against Man City, being brave, take on your man, take on that man, open space, drags other players out of position, about being brave. We can see the Brighton style of play, slow and intricate, so we can imagine that they're going to try and have a lot of the ball against Villa, which might kind of suit us a little bit. We'll have a game plan for that. Villa is still in that slow and intricate. We've got Brighton build up, and where they have most of the ball against the opposition, it's the blue. The grey is contested, and the red is where the opposition have the ball. And then this is Aston Villa, so we're starting to lose a little bit of blue around the halfway line. So there's a couple more reds coming in there. We had a lot of contested areas. I don't think contested areas are that bad, really, because it's either you or the opposition on that given game. So I think I'm okay with that. So now we have the build-up attacks. So they're having they've had 151 build-up attacks, 40 direct attacks. Villa have had 84 build-up attacks and 84 direct attacks. So we could see the direct coming into it a little bit more against Brighton. Expected goals for on set pieces. Villa have scored 14 goals from set pieces. Brighton have only scored 6 off set pieces, so that's interesting to note. Expected goals for Villa have got a 45.79 XG and 51 goals scored. Brighton have got a 37.76 XG and scored 36 goals against from set pieces. Villa have conceded 14. Brighton have conceded 10. So they're not too great on set pieces either. So those are all of my stats that I've got for the game. So yeah, I'm confident from this game. I think there will be a reaction. I think Emery will have spoke to a couple of players and demanded more, which is fine. And I think, yeah, I think he'll have looked at the players and I think he will have demanded a little bit more. But I also think he will probably have had a little look at what he's been doing and his system and personnel. And I think they will have had a refining session yesterday. Day off. I think that some of them might have had a bit of a tactical episode and had a little bit of a look at what they need to be doing. Zaniolo's back. Can't imagine him to start. I think he'll come off the bench. So maybe he might get some more minutes and might start in Athens. So it's massive boost to have him back. I think when Tim comes on, he's doing some good touches. I think that it's nice to see him coming on and having some good touches. So that's great. But for me, in this game, it's all about us. It's all about what we do. It's all about our reaction. We need to want it. We need to want to be hungry. We need to want to fight. We need to want to improve. And we're in a great place. Like this, we're in an absolutely fantastic, fantastic place. And we've got a great opportunity this weekend. And that's the next opportunity, the Premier League. So let's grasp it. Let's take it. Let's still back the team. Let's still be confident. All is not lost. It's not doom and gloom over here. Up the Villa podcast HQ. There's no doom and gloom coming from me. So disappointed after a bad result. But let's be level-headed and let's be mindful of where we are, what we've done, what's happened this season, who's missing, who's got to come back, and we'll be absolutely fine. So cheers everyone for watching. Subscribe if you're new. We'll be back for the match reaction straight after the game on Sunday, and then we'll have debrief, and then we'll turn our attention to Europe. Up the Villa.